Christmas Stories from Grandma's Attic by Arleta Richardson, illustrated by Kulin-Sandel. Chapter 6. The Gift That Kept on Giving. I was searching through Grandma's old trunk for some pictures when I came across a small, leather-bound book, the edges crumbly and dusty. It was a copy of Snowbound, and John Leaf Whittier was inscribed on the first page. "Look, Grandma," I said. "Is this the book you told me about that Sarah Jane signed?" "No," Grandma replied. She turned the book over lovingly. "This is the original one." "But you sold that one to Warren Carter." "I did," Grandma nodded. "The money he gave me helped get a coat with a fur collar for Ma's Christmas." "But how?" "How does it happen to be here?" "That's quite a story," Grandma said. "I guess I've never told you more than the first part of it." "Tell me now," I urged her, and together we went back in time to Mabel's high school years. Warren Carter did give me $5 for my autographed copy of Snowbound, and for 4 years I was content with the copy that Sarah Jane had signed to look like the original. Ma enjoyed her coats so much I never regretted the choice I had made. Just before we graduated from high school, Warren stopped in to see me one evening. "Mabel," he said, "you've given me a run for my money ever since we started school together. I probably never would have studied so hard if you'd been easier to beat. I think you deserve a graduation gift for making me work." He handed me a wrapped and ribboned package, and I grinned happily as I opened it. It was the copy of Snowbound I had sold to him in the 8th grade. "Oh, Warren, are you sure you want me to have this back?" He nodded. "It's too valuable of a thing for you ever to have sold. You've been a good friend over the years, and I want you to keep it." The book went with me to my new home, and whenever I looked at it, I thought of Warren's generosity. Then, one Christmas, when Alma was about 8 years old, there was no money for gifts for the family. Sarah Jane and I made doll clothes from scraps for our daughter's dolls. "What are you doing for Len this year?" Sarah Jane asked as we worked on our sewing. "You haven't said anything about it." "I made him a sweater and socks," I said. "But the truth is I want to get him a Bible. We have a nice family Bible, and the church Bible, of course, but he needs a reading Bible the size of his hymnal. I could get him one from the catalog for 75 cents, but it's bound in cloth. The one I really have my eye on is bound in French Morocco and has gold edges." "How much is it?" $1.40. I pick it up and look at it every time I go into Gage's store. Maybe I'll give it so much wear they'll lower the price." "Dorcas would let you get it and pay a little at a time," Sarah Jane said. "In fact, she would insist if she knew you wanted it." I shook my head. "Len wouldn't enjoy it if he knew I'd gone into debt for it. He would say a Bible here and one at the church is enough. But I know how much he'd like one he could carry with him." "How much do you still need?" 75 cents. "More than you'll get for your eggs," Sarah Jane said. "What else could you sell?" "Nothing that I know of," I shrugged. I thought for a moment. "Well, maybe there is. My autographed copy of Snowbound." Sarah Jane was appalled. "Oh, Mabel, no. I was thinking of something to eat like cream or vegetables. That book is priceless." "So is Len," I replied. "I'll take it to Dorcas and see if she'll buy it, or at least trade it for the Bible." Sarah Jane wasn't convinced that this was a good idea, but she said no more. The next time I went into town, I took the slender volume and explained my plan to Dorcas Gage. "Are you sure, Mabel?" she protested. "This book is a treasure. Mr. Whittier is dead now, and there may not be many autographed copies of one of his most famous poems." "I know, but how often do I read it? Len would read his Bible every day." Dorcas was reluctant, but she took the book and returned for the Bible, and I hurried home, more than pleased with my bargain. When gifts were opened on Christmas morning, Len was delighted, as I knew he would be. As usual, we shared the day with Thomas and Sarah Jane. As we prepared to leave their home that evening, Sarah Jane handed me a small package. "One more gift," she said. When I opened the present, I very nearly burst into tears. It was my autographed copy of Snowbound.
Who knows what that book might buy next year,
Sarah Jane said with a grin.
I figured this was the best investment you could ever have.
But she was mistaken. Actually, the best investment of my life had been her friendship. End of The Gift That Kept on Giving.